My art, I always use acrylics, and now I'm evolved into doing collage work. And I like to find all different ways to do it. And so tonight, I thought it would be fun, and since we're at the botanical center, I thought we'd be outside, but it's with the storms, we just didn't know, so we're in. But what we're going to be doing is picking a bouquet of flowers and putting it in our vase and making a nice still life. So I want you to be thinking of the kind of flowers that you would put into your vase. So we're going to do an acrylic background. Adele, hi Adele.
Hi.
This is a sample of what we will be doing. We're going to do an acrylic background with our card and with some onion netting and a paper towel. And then I'm going to show you all how to print on a jelly plate. And you're each going to, you can come up with a couple at a time. And we'll, on paper, we are going to print our vase. And then the scissors are there. You can cut your vase out however, whatever shape. You might have a favorite vase at home that you can think of that you'd want to do that shape. And then we're going to use tissue paper in all different colors, and we're going to create flowers. And they're all going to be, this is our Mod Podge, and the brush. This is the only reason we have brushes is to get our Mod Podge done here. No, I don't want, well, you can if you have to, but I really want you to try to do the painting with your card. It's a lot of fun. So to start with, for the background, it's better to do lighter up on top, lighter colors, darker colors on the bottom, and just little tiny drops. So I have mine ready to go. So you don't need much paint at all, just little drops. If need be, once you move it around, you need a little bit more, you can do that. But we don't want this like heavily wet. We want it to be just a light coat that looks real kind of translucent-y and just pretty. So I put darker colors down here and lighter up here. I have my card. Playing card works really well too. And I was going to bring a deck of playing cards and have you all do that, but my husband said I was not to take his playing cards. So anyway, so I just chose random, kind of lighter, brighter up here. And I also did warm colors up here, all in the warm family, and cool down here. And this will kind of form my base. So you start with your card, and you just start moving that paint around. And it'll stick on there, see? So you can, move it. And see, it doesn't take much. And you can continue to move it. Move it around. Now we're going to go back in too. I'll show you in a minute to soften it up even more. Now we have that, so I'm going to now we are going to take the dark, and I like for the table kind of go to give it an effect that it's a table. Stay like that. Okay. Then what you're going to do, you're going to take your paper towel, wad it up, take this, make a little ball, and this adds texture for your painting. Now just go around and start wherever there's white spots. You can move that paint around. And I like to go over the whole thing to soften. You know what I'm doing? I'm going over all of it. And if you just have a paper towel, that's fine. You don't have to have. And I just continue. See how I work the color to kind of just have it be softened. And just keep playing with it till you really like that background. Anywhere where you had a white spot, you can go in and fill it. Tap it all over. And see how it just creates a nice soft background. And just continue to play with the colors until you get it how you want. And so I'll let you guys start with this. Just the key is be less on the paint than you think, because you can always add touch, dots here and there after. But if you put too much on in the beginning, it'll just become a muddy, it'll just become muddy. So just little drops. Has anybody here used a jelly plate before? A jelly printing plate? Yeah, okay. All of my art now, I use my jelly printing plate to make all my own papers that I then add on to my acrylic paints. And I discovered it online. I think I saw a YouTube video a few years ago. And I thought, that looks like something fun to try. Well, I ordered mine, opened it up, and I think I was in my room for 3 hours. And when I was done, my entire bedroom floor was covered with paper. It was just addictive. I love that you can do so much with them. But tonight, we're going to be making our vase with them. So, we'll come up just 3 people at a time, because I have 3 jelly plates. And if you'd like to, because of COVID, just come up by yourself, that's fine, let me know, and you can just come up on your own. What we're gonna do first is you put, and for this, very much, you do not put a lot of paint on here. You just put little, and I'll show you. And then what we do, you put paint on here. You have your brayer, and you move the paint around with the brayer. And we're going to do multicolors, so we're going to be doing some of this. If sometimes you can just do one, well, you can too, if you just want one solid colored base. And then you just go like this. I have tools that you can create little stripes on your base, crisscrosses, all different things. Now, when you get, if you like the jelly plate and you end up ordering, you find out you can do multiple layers on one piece of paper, and you can create any kind of pattern on one piece of paper just by continuing to print on the same thing. But for tonight's sake, we're just going to do one printing. So I'm going to just grab a couple. I'm going to do green, and tonight I'm going to do green and purple base. So what I'm going to do is just tiny little dots, about that many. And then I'll put little bits of green here and there. Then I'm going to take my brayer. Okay. You're going to start with one color. Don't just go like that. You'll just end up with a mess. So start with one color. You just start moving that around. And then I'll go into this color. Here's a little purple. Play around with it till you like it. I'm going to add on my vase some stripes. So I'm going to stripe it like that. Wipe it off. Now you take a piece of paper, lay it on top. And if you end up with something you just do not like, I have extra paper. You can do more. You can do another one. There, you pull it up. And so then, once this dries, I'll cut my vase out of that. And that's what I will cut and put on there. Now there's still some stuff on there. So I could, this is what I do at home then. I pick this up. And then you end up, this is called a ghost print. And at home, some of that I could see on a painting, you know, so I never leave the paint. I always make ghost prints too, because you never know what some ghost prints are better than the original. You just don't know. So I'm just gonna cut it. You all have pens, so you could flip it over and draw what you want on the back. Okay, so I cut like this. You could make yours a little bigger than what I just did, but that's cool. That's what I'm gonna have for my vase. I'm gonna show you. So Adele, see, I just cut my paper, and that's what I ended up with.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start adding the tissue paper stems, and once we get our stems in place, then we're gonna glue this down.
Okay, lovely. Okay. Lovely. Gotcha.
For now, once you have it cut, just lay it where you're gonna want it, but we're not gonna attach it then. Because next we're gonna cut stems, and we want to stick the stems underneath. So we wanna lay out our stems, and then we'll glue those, we'll Mod Podge them down, then we'll Mod Podge our vase, and then we're gonna start doing our flowers. So, everyone has green tissue. Now, there is no rule that says you have to have green stems. This obviously is more realistic, but you could go whimsical and do purple stems or whatever. But everybody has longer stuff to make green stems, because I assumed we were going to kind of be doing. But if I'm saying green, you don't think that you have to do green stems. Everyone has a light green and a dark green. So, what I do is cut some kind of, just stems. So some you do want straight, some you want curved, and don't, just kind of mixed in. You can do both colors combined. You could do the teal. Or like I said, you could just put any color you want. But everybody has green if you want green. So just, I just took mine and just started cutting like this. And just, I don't necessarily lay them as I'm cutting. I'm just cutting first. I'll arrange them later. It's kind of neat to do a mixture of colors. I did some light and some darker. Some you will want kind of straight. And these are just kind of background stems. I have way more flowers on there than you can kind of see this thing. Okay. What you want to do is wherever you have your base position, kind of stick the stems where you might like them. See, I'm just laying them on here. Just kind of arranging them. If they're too long, cut them down. Just kind of arrange it. What's pleasing to you. And then once you get them kind of arranged, you all have Mod Podge and you all have a brush. And what you do is, I'll show you. Like, okay, this one's probably gonna lay there. So I take some Mod Podge and I just stick it at the top so that that's in place now. I'll go back later and go underneath, but this just holds it in place now. Now I know, okay, that one's there. So then maybe I like that there. So I'll go take a little Mod Podge, lay that down. Okay, that one's now in place for me. That just holds them in place. Just put a little on the top. I'm going to have this one kind of lay over these. So I'm going to take my Mod Podge. There, that one's in place. And so just arrange them, whatever's pleasing to your eye.
I think we should be done.
I have 10 on this one, so, but you don't have to, like, it's however, it depends on how big your vase is too. It's all mainly gonna get covered with your flowers. Okay, this one I'm gonna lay kind of out here. So just Mod Podge the top, start. Let's see. Another one here. You can cut as you go. If you think you need little short ones. Keep adding however you might like them. Back for this, I think I'm just gonna leave it this many. Now, once you have all those little tops and you have it kind of arranged and you glue them down, you can pick them up and move them. In fact, I think I want one more dark top. I have mine all pretty much. Now you just go ahead and glue the entire stems down. You just, it's kind of like paint, it's not, you paint underneath and then paint on top. So you just pull it up, paint it, and lay them down. Lay them down. And you can put the Mod Podge underneath and on the top of them. Because they give a nice glaze. You know, they're all going to stay. Okay, once you get all your stems how you want, then you're going to Mod Podge the base on top. If there's one you don't like, I don't like that one. Perfect. Here. Shorty. I think I want those short ones to come out. One little shorty over here. See, I'm just arranging my stems, getting that all laid out, Mod Podging on as I go. If you're laying them, continue to put your base there to make sure you're liking it. Once you get it all how you like it, then you can go ahead and brush the back of your base and stick that on, now that we've got the stems going. I'm gonna I can't, so hard doing it upside down. I think I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to continue to paint over top of it. See how I've glued the bottom, but I'm also going right over the top. This is what also helps make it kind of that kind of soft, translucent look. Okay. So this is what we're get to this point, which is our stems are down and our base is made down. The next thing you're going to be thinking about and starting to put your mind into is making your flowers. Now, mine aren't terribly realistic, and that's what you don't have to like have a perfect, like what you think of a flower, but just this, I pour this just as that shape, and then I layer different colors. It forms what kind of looks like a carnation. You know, use your imagination. They don't have to be perfect flowers. It just needs to be the color of the flower. You know, just think about the colors that you like. The flower, like daisies, obviously, you can cut petals or tear cut. I do a lot of, instead of cutting, I do a lot of tearing.
Yeah.
So these, it makes them more interesting. And there, see there, I cut like a kind of a petal shape, and then you add that. And what you'll do is you'll start forming your flowers and lay them on first and arrange them before you start gluing them down so that you're happy with the arrangement. Like you could do earrings and kind of make it ruffly. A lot of like roses and things like that are kind of ruffly around the, see what I'm doing? Peony. I'm just kind of tearing them like that. And then you could take another lighter color and tear a little smaller. And just kind of tear
It's hard.
little, and then you could lay that on top of there. And then you could use another color, like particularly yellow. And tear a little ruffly thing. Put that on top of there. And look at that. There you have a pretty little flower that looks kind of like a carnation. And then I'd lay it somewhere on here. Just lay it down, don't attach it yet. And then just start forming more, laying them until you're really happy, and then start gluing. Usually, another tip is if you do one flower, you should probably do an odd number of that same flower. Like I did this one, so I might do 2 more, so I have 3. And then I think of another flower I really love and do 5 of those, so that it's ramping. So do odd numbers of your flowers. That's just a tip. That's any kind of arranging or anything. It's usually better. Odd looks more pleasing to your eye. And don't make them all the same size. Do different sizes. You could one thing I was thinking, along one stem you could do small and make little. And do them all along. See, like this. And just do little ones all along there. To make little, you know, shoots of, oh, they might look like hyacinths or something like that, you know. So, just think of flowers, and don't think that they have to be perfect. Just, there's also your scissors if you don't want to cut, or I mean, if you don't want to tear. I want everybody to continue working as you're going, but I'm going to kind of wrap it up for the people online. You'll just continue to play around, create your bouquet, put it down with your Mod Podge, and then when it's all how you want it, it's all glued down, then I'd take the Mod Podge and just do a nice light layer over the entire painting. And you're done then, just let it dry, let it thoroughly dry. One thing I would say is tomorrow, if you wanted to, you could go back in with fine line markers and add little details to your flowers if you'd like, little veiny things on your stems. You know, you could add, I didn't add here, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. You could go in and add details. And that you can put right on the Mod Podge on top. That's fine. So sort of just to say, to complete it, just put your flowers on, put a nice thin coat of Mod Podge over it, let it dry, and you've got, you know, a piece of art.